Welcome to the APTA's second stop on the Grand Prix Tour, the Chicago Charities. Sponsored by the APTA national sponsors Viking and Uline, and local sponsors North Shore Orthopedic Institute, Fields Automotive Group, Walled Lake Planning and Wealth Management, and the Messina Group. We are live from the Glenview Club in Gulf, Illinois, on the APTA network presented by eNet Live. I'm Laura Mandel, along with Mark Fischel and Brad Easterbrook, bringing you this semifinal match between the number 3 seeds, Czerwinski and Graham McNerney, and the number 1 seeds, Juan Arraya and Drew Broderick. And here you have a look at their bios. Mark, do you want to talk a little bit about them?
Well, it's an exciting match. Czerwinski and McNerney had a terrific start to last year, and then McNerney his wife had a baby and he stopped playing, so they didn't play again together till Nationals, where they lost to Broderick and Palmer in the quarterfinals. So they're on the near side of the court. McNerney's wearing the white hat, and on the far side of the court, and the snow cap is Drew Broderick, the left-hander, and in the right deuce side is Juan Arraya. Couple of three teaching professionals and some really talented rackets players. Brad, do you want to talk a little bit about their skills?
Absolutely. You know, we've talked a bunch about Czerwinski's forehand. He's got one of the best in the game. Quick release, can hit it from almost anywhere. Very dangerous shot. McNerney has great volleys, good finishing skills at the net. Really one of the top players probably at the net. Backcourt offense is a little more pedestrian. Has to be given to him almost. You know, somebody hitting it too hard off the screen. And then you got Arraya, who can hit any shot in the game. The question is, does he do it at the right time and control his mental state? And probably the best player in transition in the game. It'll be interesting to see how he matches up, you know, with McNerney, who stands in and volleys so well. And then you got a great captain out there in Drew Broderick. I mean, what I saw from him yesterday was taking that team of Broderick and Arraya and turning it from their never playing together again to winning the next 2 sets 6-2, 6-love against Benchil and Frazier yesterday. He really took that team on his shoulders, directed them, gave them a purpose on how to play, and it made it all the difference.
Charities here at the Glenview Country Club. This match will be the best 2 out of 3 sets with a tiebreaker in each set. To my right, from Chicago, Illinois, Graham McNerney, and his partner from Lake Forest, Illinois, Czerwinski. To my left, from Stamford, Connecticut, Juan Arraya, and his partner, Drew Broderick, from Summit, New Jersey.
Yeah, the interesting thing to me is Arraya and Broderick play the game so completely differently. Can they adjust? You know, Arraya likes to blitz off his opponent's drives. Broderick likes to hit a lot of probing shots. And
they're not really blitzable.
And it doesn't really fit. Okay. And Arraya expressed some very minor frustration with that.
He's very calm. He uses soft words.
Yes, a couple of times yesterday. On the court, off the court, while going to the court. So, you know, that's the big question to me.
But that being said, they ended up playing 2 great sets, beating a team that was very hot, and they're, you know, the 2 most accomplished players out here.
Yes, of the 8 players left, there are only national champions. But as Jerry Viant likes to say, every day is a new day. So we'll see where that takes us. Arraya is the all-time leader with 5 Grand Prix titles. Broderick and Mark Parsons are tied with 4.
Guys.
All right, so let's take a look at this. How do you see this match? Yesterday, you would have said, Mark and Lauren, probably that, you know, and Ryan Benchil, that Arraya and Broderick might not have even been here. But now, after seeing the performance yesterday, where they were able to get some functionality to their roles, a role that they're going to play, do you see this a lot differently?
Yeah, you know, the other thing which we talked about a little bit off air is Czerwinski and McNerney didn't really do anything to impress yesterday. I mean, I thought Colmar and Morgan really ran out of gas more than anything else.
I mean, clearly Colmar cramping at the end.
Yeah, if not cramping, tired, but they were up 4-1 in the third and just didn't have the energy to kind of close the door.
But the one big technical change we saw Arraya and Broderick make was with the overheads. And they stopped both sort of fighting for all the overheads and worked it out that Broderick was going to hit the overheads, and Arraya was going to stay close to the net, and that seemed to sort of give them a focus.
I think that's absolutely true, and we'll see if that's the case today. The dynamic that's so interesting to me is that Drew Broderick really plays the game differently than any of the other top players. Everybody else is trying to win points. Drew's trying not to lose them. So when you're playing with a partner who's got a different MO than what you're trying to accomplish, can you make it work? They did yesterday, the last two sets.
It was interesting,
Time,
too, that I
gentlemen.
saw in the last two sets was just even the energy change and the way they were moving around the court and the athleticism they brought to the next two sets in their match, for Arraya and Broderick yesterday, whereas it was completely flat before. And Czerwinski and McNerney, they almost seem a little flat in their match. We'll see, who can gather up the energy, have the right plan.
Mr. Arraya and Mr. Broderick won the toss and have elected to serve.
That's an interesting decision, Brad, isn't it?
Well, the standard wisdom is you receive, but I like it. I think that's too overplayed at this point. I think taking the serve from time to time, and it also kind of lets you know that they're maybe not so afraid of the McNerney return.
Yeah, Czerwinski and McNerney have won a couple of Grand Prix titles. One Araya's over here showing off his orange socks to us, and Drew Broderick's giving us an opinion of them too. They won the first title this year at Indian Trail, and they won the first title last year in Philadelphia, where they beat Arraya Parsons after being down a couple of match points in the second set tiebreak.
We should also mention we have another semifinal going on next to us. The number 7 seeds of Burus and Irdoja are playing the number 2 seeds of Compton and Kahler. We'll get you scores from that match as the time goes on.
Brad, I never thought it'd be easy to say. It's hard not to say Stoyasavlovich. But every time I say Burus, I want to say Stoyasavlovich.
I got the same issue. You heard me pause after I say Burus, because Burus and Stoyasavlovich played together for a couple of years there.
And of note, we have the last 3 directors at the Essex Fells Club playing today, which tells you something about the club's support for the players in Drew Broderick, Scott Kahler, and Mick Irdoja.
There you go.
Could you ask Jackie?
Lauren, some fashion comments on Araya's outfit for us?
I'm speechless.
Yeah, that pretty much describes it. It's Wilkinson-esque.
Yeah, I never saw what George was wearing this weekend because I never saw him.
He had some ugly clothes that didn't match.
Well, George goes out of his way to make sure they don't match.
I'm pretty sure Juan did too today.
Yeah, I don't think this was a plan. Okay, Drew Broderick to serve and get us started.
Love 15.
Drew normally has a very reliable serve. But he did throw in a bunch of faults yesterday. And that's what we're going to see from Graham. He's really right on that line between being aggressive and being foolish with that forehand. So early on, you see the strategy from Arraya Broderick, dumping a lot of balls in the middle, really challenging that McNerney forehand.
Do you find that McNerney will get baited?
Yeah.
30, 15.
But I do think one of the big jumps he made as a player was the ability to make better decisions in the big moments. Because that was the knock on him for a while.
Just wide.
Wide.
Nice blitz there from
30
McNerney,
all.
forces the error.
There's the Czerwinski forehand we were talking about.
30-40.
It is a thumper.
Oh, good blitz.
And that's where a lot of McNerney's offense
Deuce.
comes from. Moves around the court real well, despite what Anton Mavra thinks.
Yeah, but you're right. Probably 75% of his offense is the blitz or the threat of blitz. That's a great shot.
But that's a great example to me of two players being on different pages.
Mr.
So
McNerney.
Arraya's kind of hanging in there, looking to pick off a ball, and Broderick pretty much set him up to be beat. And there you see Arraya
Yep.
and Broderick both going for the same overhead.
It's amazing they haven't run into each other this weekend.
Arraya misses a relatively
Game.
easy volley, and we have a
Czerwinski,
break to start.
McNerney, they win the first game of the first set.
Lots of kudos this weekend. Jackie Cameron's at the top of the list. Our new tour director, done a wonderful job. John Noble,
Can you
all
toss
the
it up on
people from CPTC,
Thank you. One more.
of course the APTA staff,
That's all right.
and Sheedy,
Jackie.
Tiernan Cavana, President Tiernan Cavana, Indy Pike, Isabel Caban. Brad, was there a reason you didn't want to thank the ENET guys?
I guess I could do it.
Okay. Brad
All
has
right.
now given me permission.
Thank you, ENET guys. Great job as always. I
Mr.
tell you, we have
Czerwinski to
a
serve.
pile of replays. Done a great job with every aspect of the broadcast.
Okay, Marek Czerwinski to serve.
So what are Czerwinski and McNerney going to try to do from the net?
I assume we're going to see them play the ball to Broderick more, but I think it's a function of how the match goes. I mean, if you see Arraya missing
15
early,
love.
we'll see more balls going his way. McNerney clearly has the better overhead of the two, but he has one of the best overheads in the game.
Ooh, good
Oh, what a
pickup.
pickup.
Great shot there from Broderick.
15 all.
So, Brad, what do you think about the hand battles at the net? Is that something McNerney should be getting into or avoiding?
I think McNerney is not afraid of
15,
anyone,
30.
including Arraya. If he's moving forward, he's going to keep going at him. And should he get into him or not? I think he should play his game. And his game is trying to win volleys and volley exchanges. So, yeah. And then if he finds that Arraya is starting to beat him, I think he'll be smart enough to back off and bail.
Well, we'll see how it goes. He lost that one to Broderick.
Yeah, Broderick hit a drive just inside hip.
Broderick is so precise with that backhand.
30 all.
A lot of early misses from Arraya.
You hear him shout a good come on, trying to get himself going. Go. Offense coming there from the Broderick
30
backhand.
40.
It's a great shot.
You talked about baiting earlier, Brad, and a lot of the guys like to bait Broderick on his forehand side.
Yeah, get him to step up and drive it.
Oh, what
great
a
shot.
volley.
He was pretty
Deuce.
far back there. I didn't think he had that volley.
Looked like he was in all sorts of trouble.
Oh, great hands.
But again, not the most
Advantage,
judicious
Mr.
of
Broderick.
decisions from McNerney there.
Yeah, that ball looked good to me as well.
Yep. Boy, Arraya called it fast.
Fast.
Deuce.
And with no angle.
I think maybe he thought Rob Lamoon owned one from the math situation yesterday.
Oh,
But ball was clearly on the line. Great shot.
that's a shot that nobody else in the game can hit.
Advantage, Mr. Broderick.
Looked like a pretty good serve.
It was. It's a great shot.
Yeah.
Game, Arraya, Broderick.
Broderick seems
Games
to
are
be
1-all,
more aggressive on
first
that
set.
forehand return this weekend.
You know, like a lot of things with Broderick, if he's feeling better,
Arraya to
I've
serve.
seen him drill balls and attack people from time to time, and then all of a sudden the next match he's, just sort of pushing the drive, not really hitting it. If he feels confidence, he'll go for it. This is one of the things I'm curious about, to see if McNerney's going to keep hitting a lot of these sort of waterfalls. I feel like over time that's a dangerous play against these two guys. Yeah, they're content to sort of dump down the middle.
Well, as we talked about yesterday, Brad, we have the two biggest proponents of the waterfall overhead in the game plan today.
Yep, Kahler and McNerney.
And Broderick loves the waterfall overhead.
It
That's
plays
what I was
right into
saying.
him.
You try to dunk it over there. One of his better shots is sort of that overhead attack in lieu of a drive. If you try to get it near this one here, but it's over him enough.
Arraya's one-handed backhand is so versatile. He holds the ball so long. He can do so many things with it.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of the best one-handed backhands in the game.
There he tries the flick, catches the top of the net.
Love, 15. Not up.
Great job.
Tremendous cut.
15 all.
Boy, that was a tough volley Arraya made look easy. We're seeing a ton of balls played by Arraya Broderick down the middle.
Well, that's the place to go. You don't want to put it anywhere near the Czerwinski forehand. Hitting it hard into McNerney's screen is actually a worse play against him. He's good off the screen drive, especially with his backhand. And he doesn't love the forehand off the deck, so the middle's the place, the safe place.
Although I think as the match unfolds, you'll see Arraya challenge him with some hard balls to accelerate the pace of play. One of the things we discussed yesterday that he likes to do so much is overhit that overhead and then jump on top of the net.
And there you go. That sort of brings you back to the thought you were talking about before. Do they want to play that way? Is that the way Broderick wants to play? It might be the way that Arraya wants to play.
15-30.
And you see him right there forcing a couple of backhands, trying to force some action. Yeah, Arraya's at his best when he's moving around, creating, running up, running back, moving one spot to another. When things get more static, he sort of loses his way out there.
Graham beats him with the forehand there. I see Arraya looking at Broderick. Your ball, my ball.
15-40.
He definitely wasn't ready for that volley.
I've seen that look before. That's great athleticism by Czerwinski.
Oh! That's a great... That's tough. He's going to dig it. Oh!
Of course he's going to dig it. He's Drew Broderick.
The great part about that was the screenplay behind it. Heck of a point. Oh, miscommunication on a switch.
It's wrong ball to switch on, too.
Czerwinski, McNerney.
Kind of a
Bailey,
short,
2
low
games to
lob,
1,
right?
First set.
Yeah. 3 breaks in a row.
Uline is the leading distributor of shipping industrial and packaging materials to business throughout North America. They ship over 2.5 million boxes every day, but they are so much more than a box company. More than 32,000 quality products are always in stock and ready to ship. Outstanding customer service means they're here when you need them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Uline, the best selection, products, and people for an unforgettable customer experience.
Brad, it's just a perfect day here in Glenview, Gulf, Illinois. Low 40s, no sun, barely any wind.
Yep, I think if you ask most players, they'd prefer no sun. You know, it's just like ideal out, great conditions for playing.
We have a
Two
score
great-
from the other semifinal. Kahler and Compton are up 2-love.
Mr. McNerney to serve.
2-1.
An update from Lauren Mandel. Wow, that was
There you go.
timely.
Quickie.
Okay, Graham McNerney to serve
Whoa.
as he almost hits Arraya in the face. He probably deserved it, though.
Yeah, see, a lot of people... Oh, he had a shot at it. Now, I've never seen an around-the-net shot on the other side of the net.
15
Now, I've
love.
seen a few things I haven't seen before this weekend. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the 2 around the net post shot, 1 point yesterday.
Yep.
Another big
Big
rip for
return.
Broderick.
Big forehands.
15 all.
So far, the offense has come from there.
That shot from Czerwinski on the first point, it's now 15 all, but the shot from Czerwinski on the first point was something that Broderick was feeding to Frazier yesterday on a regular basis.
Yeah, in the beginning of the match, for sure. In the first set, I think Frazier put away 7 or 8 of them.
Yeah. There were so many.
And that's the danger of that really soft, low ball. You know, against a guy with that skill set.
Brad, we were talking last night about the demise of the high lob. You want to elaborate on that a little bit and speculate as to why it's the case?
I'd blame the internet, Mark. No, I think, you know what it is? I think people have just gotten away from it. Their thought process is different. They're, you know, the block lob, pushing it low, you know, kind of gives the player less time to set up, and they think they can catch a guy, but I think it's just been a lost art. Nobody hits it high and deep and moves their position around in the backcourt as much anymore. And I think it'll make a comeback. It's sort of like years ago in the tennis world. We never saw anybody hit a slice backhand. And then all of a sudden, years later, reappeared in the game. You know, and it's the same thing here. People are in love with a new tactic, but the high deep lob, still a perfect place in the game.
Yeah, we need Flip Goodspeed at it, or lifting up a few with his two-handed shot.
Yeah, Goodspeed and Mansinger were perfect. A classic line from then is, I can't remember, somebody said, maybe he was playing U-line or something, you know, wait till you see this guy's spin overhead and his forehand. And Mansinger goes, wait till he sees my lob.
Great recovery there from Arraya.
He doesn't miss that much
30,
one when he
15.
gets a ball to cut like that.
Nope, not normally.
Oh!
And there's the hit and blitz, which Arraya likes so much.
40,
Catches the
15.
top of the tape, and we have 2 points for our first hold of the day.
It's a good move. That's a very vintage Arraya move. Oh!
Oh! Jeez.
Yeah. And you see McNerney up there just clapping. He went at him
40,
at purpose,
30.
thinking he can catch him, but Arraya is so good with those hands.
Almost nobody went for that. Oh, he had it. He knows it.
Deuce.
Broderick's got to be careful with that slightly off-base drive. And then you heard Broderick calling out help as he thought the ball was going to hit the nick and pop out. Top players play the nick so well.
Well, it's a necessity because top players aim for the nick so well.
And we're missing Mark Parsons this weekend, who aims for the nick as well as anybody.
Yeah, he's probably hit more nicks than anyone I've ever seen.
I was once with Mark teaching a clinic, and he hit the nick. He was trying to teach a woman to hit a side back, and he kept hitting the nick.
Well, you would think if he could aim to hit the nick, he could aim to hit a side back.
Apparently not.
It's too ingrained.
Oh, I thought Broderick was going to stay in and spike that one. See, you were talking about it before, about McNerney's overhead, but Czerwinski has a good finishing cutter as well. He just uses it less often.
Arraya loves to hit the offensive shot when it appears to be out of position and behind in the point. You saw it there. He was looking for it again.
Yeah, and he hits it with surprising pace. And as you said before, Mark, he holds the ball. So he's sort of very quick, and he actually moves in behind it often.
Which is counterintuitive.
Well, like we said, we were talking on air yesterday about the skill sets that sort of separate players from one level to another. It's one of the reasons why he's the #1 seed here.
Broderick misses the lob long. Right shot.
Advantage, Mr. McNerney.
Just a little too aggressive.
Another great rip from Broderick.
McNerney takes up so much space there at the net.
Yeah, he's got that wingspan.
There it is.
That's the one that we were talking about before. He's got to be very careful with it. I mean, I'm sure the moment Czerwinski hit, he was like, uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Bad idea. I'm surprised he didn't just bail, but it happened so fast. It's almost like he took his medicine.
3-1 for Compton Kahler against Burus and Irdoja. Other semifinal.
Another really bad waterfall overhead. There's that great Czerwinski one-handed shot.
That forehand.
You see
so
it dipping. You could see it dipping right down under the net.
Advantage, Mr. McNerney.
It's really interesting the way McNerney kind of follows along the course of the ball, standing on, right on top of the net, maybe 6 inches away. He gets away with that one. It was so bad it was almost good.
It was a good example because he was literally, his nose was on the net and he got lobbed.
I think it helps being 6'4", maybe. Great play by Broderick.
And you really see a lot of offense being generated by Arraya Broderick, and whether it's their lobs or the poor overheads from Czerwinski and McNerney, we'll see more as it goes on.
Oh, so good.
Great transition play from McNerney there.
Advantage, Mr. McNerney.
So, but I'd like to see if Araya's going to move to the center. They got to work that out where Broderick moves to the center behind him so he can cover either side of the court.
You would have thought that was a playable ball for Broderick. When it left McNerney's paddle, you didn't think winner.
No, absolutely not. But Broderick was still way over in his corner. It was a great pace, though, from McNerney and a great spot.
Broderick continues to hit that little chip lob that's low.
It barely even constitutes a lob, to be honest. It's
Just a lob?
3 feet over their heads. It's not.
And Brad, take me through his thought process.
I honestly think the ball's moving forward more when that happens, right? It's not moving up and coming down, so it's not traveling downward. So there's very little setup time, but it also is not pushing the guy off the net either. But the time it gets to the player is much less than if he were to hit a hard lob.
Great blitz there from McNerney.
So I think he's, sort of think he's going to get an opportunity of them hitting it down more in a quicker way. There you go. There's a little higher lob, but it's going to get finished. Too good.
Great shot. We have a hold.
Game. Czerwinski, McNerney. They lead 3-1, first set.
Czerwinski's killed 3 of those so far, and I expect we're going to see more because they're not lobbing deep.
4-1 Compton Kahler.
Compton Kahler, I've seen other quarter playing really well.
Interesting where McNerney threw that towel. Again, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. The court is so small these days, though. The guys move. That towel
Love
is in
15.
play. Water bottle there by the
Remember
service
yesterday
line.
you wanted them to play ball off the water bottle?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think that's something the APTA is going to have to look at. And Sheedy just volunteered to do that.
15 all.
It's amazing how few forehands
30-15.
Czerwinski misses. Such a big, heavy ball, but it's just makes virtually every one.
Whoop,
Oh, we're
let.
going to have a let here.
Let. 30-15.
We talked about Arraya's one-hander. Czerwinski's might be the next best in the game.
He has a really good one-hander as well.
Here you see Arraya Broderick again dumping a lot of balls. Well, that was a brave blitz from Czerwinski. Well, brave might be one choice.
Yeah, I don't know if
words.
brave's the right word.
40-15.
Soft, high McNerney forehand, which Czerwinski followed to the net.
I think he might have thought Arraya would try to drop that. So he moved forward.
I think Arraya was
40,
unhappy
30.
or happy with that, Brad?
Did not look happy.
Not
Oh,
up.
that's an amazing volley. McNerney had a great
Game.
forehand, made
Arraya
Arraya flip the
Broderick.
battle.
Czerwinski and McNerney lead 3-2. First set.
Viking Athletics is a premier brand and the undisputed leader in platform tennis. Viking is platform tennis. The Viking Extra Duty platform ball has been the #1 selling ball in the industry for the last 20 years. It is the official ball of the APTA, of the APTA Nationals and President's Cup, and of the Grand Prix Tour. The official paddle of the APTA, engineered to provide superior feel and the perfect balance of power, control, spin, and durability. The Viking paddle is the official paddle of the APTA Nationals and President's Cup, and of the Grand Prix Tour.
So if somehow Czerwinski and McNerney are able to win today, that would really give them a leg up on the Blanchard Cup, having won the first 2 Grand Prix of the season.
Certainly put him in the driver's seat.
Arraya is the only person who's won the Blanchard Cup twice. On the women's side,
On the
both
women-
Dardis and Shea have won the Children's Cup twice. And here's a list of our winners. Okay, Czerwinski to serve. 3-2, first set. It's really an interesting match.
Love 15.
That Broderick backhand, he's just so good at placing it on the right hip of the right-handers. It's like he puts it on a dime,
Well, it's such a short, uncomplicated stroke.
as opposed to the forehand, which is a
15
long,
all.
complicated stroke.
Oh,
And there, Brad, we saw the serve and take a look around and maybe come to
30,
net play that you
15.
talked about yesterday.
smart play. He knew he overhit it. Ball's coming high off the screen. Raya's going to hit it down and follow it in, so better move might be to stay back.
40-15.
3 missed returns, actually.
But then he had an amazing pickup.
Yeah, he put it low.
Beat Arraya in transition. Great back cover from Broderick. Interesting lob from Arraya.
They're going to try to switch back, or they're just going to stay?
I think they'll switch back, but they'll wait for the right ball.
Nice. There you go.
There's between the legs.
A little more highlight material
Yeah.
for us this weekend.
Crush that. Rice
Game.
says he didn't see it.
Czerwinski,
I think
McNerney.
he lost it in the sun.
They lead
Possible.
4 games to 2. First
lights.
set.
So it's got to be one or the other, right?
Maybe both.
I think we could almost make a highlight reel of between the leg shots from this weekend.
Okay, so we have to 3 breaks. We have 3 holds in a row. Who do you think this first set is more important for, Lauren?
Well, I would have said Broderick Arraya because the Arraya is emotionally up and down, but
15
they
love.
lost the first set yesterday and pulled it together. So I don't know.
That's a good, honest answer.
How about you?
I think it's more important for Czerwinski and McNerney. I mean, Arraya, Broderick are at the top of the game, which is where Czerwinski and McNerney want to go.
15 all.
Oh, it's great. Czerwinski holding balls and outwitting Arraya a couple of times
15,
now.
30.
He knows Araya's going to move to the center, and he holds it and he puts it deftly to the side, but with a little pace, too.
It
Great
almost
shot.
looked like a chess match there. They were waiting each other out.
He really does that well.
Not getting that one.
And another example of how close Arraya Broderick get.
30 all.
Broderick was able to keep that on his backhand volley as a testimony to his court positioning. They were shoulder to shoulder. Looks like maybe the first set's over on the next court.
I think it is.
Well, it's definitely 7 games. Two-5 is the score. Burus and Natstoy Savlovich serving. Again, Arraya moving too much. Didn't need to do that.
30, 40.
Point for 5-2. There's a good forehand from McNerney.
That's great.
Oh, what a shot. But Czerwinski's clearly been the best player on the court
Czerwinski,
through
McNerney.
7
They
games.
lead 5 games to 2.
Let's take a look
First
at that
set.
replay of the between the leg shot. Wow. Lauren, why do they all look so easy in slow motion?
Balls.
You know,
Ball, guys.
I wish I knew because then I would be able to do it.
You and me both. Although, you know, the truth is I still couldn't do it. Wow. Yeah, Czerwinski has had a highlights reel worth of shots in his first 7 games.
Yeah, he's played great. 4 or 5 cup winners. Very few errors. Pretty error-free, actually.
He
Few
missed
big
one
forehands.
forehand.
Yeah.
Really impressive.
Actually, the combination of the shots too, and you see McNerney's length at the net happen a few times, cutting off a few of those Arraya attacks. They just played really well.
And as you alluded to before, it looks like Arraya is pressing too much, trying to make things happen that aren't there.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Araya's tube socks reminded me a little bit of Tim Mangan. Little throwback look.
No, but Tim Mangan's would have been made out of cotton, and they would have been white.
Unquestionably. New age.
I mean, those things are like, Lycra polyester, space-age technology, and they're probably designed to compress the calves to create more energy in the legs or something.
15 love.
Whoops.
Broderick's brought the most offense for that team so far.
All.
Araya's brought the most errors.
But we've seen it before a number of times, alluding to whether they need to win the first set or not. Broderick does a great job sort of managing what's going on.
15,
and Arraya,
30.
we've always seen these spurts of 5-6 games of one way or 5-6 games another way. Oh, that's a great overhead.
Well, that was a ball Arraya could have spiked.
30
There
all.
were a number of spots he could have played it and then ultimately didn't.
I always say that's one of the mark of what a good overhead does. It makes you choose. Do I play it now? Do I play it then? And if you have those seconds of thought or split seconds of thought, that's when the errors can come.
And again, Arraya playing
40,
too
30.
fast takes us to set point.
All right, so it's 5-3 now. Kahler serving for the set over there on our other court. Now, we talked a bit about those spike overheads from McNerney and even from Kahler.
Game and first set. Czerwinski and McNerney,
well,
6 games to 2.
Take a quick break, actually, and we'll be back, and we're going to bring in
2
Amin
minutes,
Kaddouri for a quick review on the PTI.
Or Platform Tennis Index, as
There
you
you
were going
go.
to say, Brad.
That's it. And so we'll be back in a moment right after these messages.
It's a 60-year love affair, as passionate as the day it began. It's where the dream and the reality are one and the same. It's safety in its most exhilarating form. It is the 2020 E-Class, the quintessential Mercedes-Benz, made new all over again. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
I play to be a role model in my neighborhood.
I play to be part of the team.
I play to be stronger than my brothers.
I play to channel my energy in a positive way.
I play because the field is where I shine. I play to be a part of something bigger than myself.
I play to stay healthy. I play to feel powerful.
I play to win.
Okay, welcome back to the APT Grand Prix Series. McNerney and Czerwinski just won the first set against Arraya and Broderick in the semifinal match. And we are joined by, gosh, a lot of titles. Amin Kaddouri, the new CEO of the APTA, the founder of the Platform Tennis Index. And what are you, 6 handicap these days, Amin?
I wish. Unfortunately, my PTI is higher than my golf index. I'm about a 14, and maybe a 15 after the tournament this weekend.
Okay, so take me through the platform tennis index. Explain it to our listeners and
Sure.
why it's so wonderful for the game.
Great. Yes. So it's a rating system that we developed in Boston and has now been rolled out across a lot of leagues in the country, and it basically will.
Time, gentlemen.
It's similar to the UTR index based on the same algorithm. And
UTR being the Universal Tennis Rating.
Right, that a lot of people familiar with junior tennis will know about. Ours is a little different. It basically looks at the difference in ratings between the two teams on the court. It'll give you an expected outcome, and then depending how the actual results go, it'll adjust your rating to reflect the outcome of that match. So the rating system basically takes people on a scale from 0 to 80, 0 being the best, although we do have some of the top pros that we're watching now actually go into the negatives, but most people in the country are somewhere between 0 and 80. And so this just allows captains across the league, commissioners, to make sure that everyone's playing in the right place, make sure that people aren't stacking, and it's allowing leagues across the country to set up tournaments for every different level of play.
Now, one of the things that seems really exciting to me about it is it's gender neutral. So a woman who's a 10 and a man who's a 10, in theory, play the game exactly the same way.
More than theory, it's actually in practice now. There are probably 50 or 60 women who play in the Boston League, who maybe a dozen of them who also play in the Women's League. Actually, Nindy Pike from the APTA plays in both men's and women's leagues, and her rating is the same in the Women's League as it is in the Men's League. And we actually have some of the top women player in the country, Roxy and Liz. They've played in one of the Fairfield men's leagues, and they have a rating that's very equivalent to some of the top men that play in that league as well. So it's been tested already, and it's a unisex rating that's going to allow for mixed tournaments and for women to be able to play in men's leagues where that happens.
So I'm out there. Amazing volley by Czerwinski. So I'm out there. I want my PTI, my platform tennis index. How do I get one?
Right. So if you're on the Paddle Scores website, it's a management a league management tool that the APTA is partnered with, that's running more than a dozen of the leagues now in the country. You'll have an index. If your league doesn't require you to be an APTA member, you will be able to see your index if you are an APTA member. If you're not, you won't see it. If you're a tournament player, if you've played in any tournament this year, whether man or woman, you'll have an index that will be available for viewing on the APTA site within the next month. So any tournament player, any league player that's on the Paddle Scores platform, you'll be able to view your index. And just a plug for anyone listening out there, if you're in an area of the country which doesn't currently use a PTI or not on the Paddle Score system, I encourage you to get in touch with anyone at the APTA. We're not just using Paddle Scores and PTI for leagues anymore. We have individual clubs which are now signing up so that it can do ladders within their club to help. They can use it for their league play as well to help set their teams and their lineups. So yeah, please do reach out. It's a great system, and we're trying to get everyone in the country on the same platform, which I think will be great for the growth of the sport.
So the message I'm hearing is join the APTA.
Absolutely, because you need to be part of the APTA to see your index.
Amin, I really want to congratulate you on becoming the first CEO of the APTA. I can't think of a better candidate. Obviously, if I could have, I would have recommended them. But I think you're just a tremendous choice for the organization and really going to lead us into the next generation of paddle growth.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you saying that, and I look forward to working with Ann, the executive director, and everyone at the APTA to help push this game forward.
Well, awesome. Thank you for joining us, and thanks for the explanation on PTI.
Yep, you're welcome. Enjoy the rest of this match.
Okay, so we missed, that's 2 points they played in that long period, Brad. That first point was spectacular.
15 all.
Brad, talk a little bit about what you think Arraya Broderick have to do to turn this thing around.
I think it first just starts with cutting down the errors and settling into the style of play they want. Arraya was doing his thing, moving, cutting, but he was just forcing a few balls, making a few errors. Broderick was actually probably the source of more of the offense in the first set. I think Broderick may have to rethink some of these short, kind of medium-paced balls that he's hitting to Czerwinski, who's basically just cutting and putting them away. And if they can just make an adjustment or two, you know, they'll easily be right in this match. And just like the last time when they lost the first set 6-2 yesterday to Benchula and Frazier, they found a way to turn it around. And Broderick, I could see in the off time already talking to Arraya about thoughts on what they want to do next.
Ball in, Drew. Yes.
Okay, Drew calls the lob
Ball
long,
on the line.
overturned by chair umpire Rob Laboon. That takes us to 15:30.
15:30.
So just finish that thought, Brad.
You know, so if they can change just a few of their tactics and a few of the thought processes they're doing, they'll be right in this match. We all know a ball or two or a tactic change makes all the difference in the world in any set. You know, the things you worry about, Arraya does wear his emotions on his sleeve. He does, you know, get upset. Things like calls going against him, thinking the world's against him today. Hopefully they'll, you know, keep their head in the right place and plug forward here.
And there you have them both reaching for the same overhead. Now here you have Czerwinski in the ad court, so you probably want to see more of the Arraya overhead into that side wire.
Great move from Czerwinski, but can't get over the top of that.
Well, he was in good position
30
for that
all.
ball.
While
Welcome
we're
back,
off as
Lauren
well.
Mandel.
Thank
We
you.
missed you.
So Compton Kahler won the first set 6-3 against Burus.
Interestingly enough, the two sets ended almost simultaneously.
And the great thing about PTI too, just going back to that for a half second, is it's not a regional thing. It's a thing you can take wherever you go, whether you're going to play in Chicago,
40,
like your
30.
Golf Index, you know, and two players of whatever level, you can automatically know what a decent game would be.
And for anyone who's familiar with UTR in tennis, it's the exact same concept and an extremely useful tool.
But yeah, I have a friend who comes to Chicago from Long Island on business. He's always saying, "Can you get me a game?" So I'll set him up with someone who'll say, "Well, how does he play?" And I have to describe his game, and it's always a difficult thing. But now I can say, "Hey, his PTI is a 27."
Game. Arraya Broderick. They win the first game of the second set. Czerwinski and McNerney won the first set 6-2.
We see McNerney miss that backhand. He's just got a great court awareness on what's going on the other side of the net, when to blitz. Really puts himself in a winning position more often than not. Some positive energy from Burus and Irdoja on the next court. Okay, Czerwinski to serve. Second game, second set.
Diet of waterfall overheads there. There's another.
They're switching to put Czerwinski's overhead in the middle, or more likely to put McNerney's volley in the middle.
Yeah, but part of it is you can't hit waterfall overheads unless the lobs are really short.
Which is clearly Broderick's intent.
Well, he's not pushing it. That one went beyond the service line, but it'd sort of be one thing if you hit the ball low and the guy's spiking it down, and every now and then you're making a move forward to hit a spike or to set up some sort of offense.
15
there they got
love.
the shot they wanted, and Arraya just dumped it in the middle of the net.
There's that one.
First
15
real
all.
careless miss we've seen from Czerwinski today. Arraya seems to have moved in a couple of steps on the baseline. Whether he's trying to find that waterfall overhead. Because the best way to attack it is to get in tight. Another miss from Arraya.
30, 15.
At the end of the day, Broderick can do whatever he wants to do. If Arraya keeps missing and forcing it, it's not going to matter. And that was really the story of the first set.
Yeah. And is that because Czerwinski and McNerney are doing a good job of not giving Arraya enough shots, so when he gets one, he's rushing it?
No, Arraya's getting plenty of balls.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not
enough
getting
shots
iced out by
that
any
he
means.
can attack.
I think he's had plenty of balls to attack and just missed them for the most part.
I think it is still what we're talking about. I mean, it's still only the third time they've played together. I mean, they have more matches than that, but you know, the third tournament, the first time they didn't look so good, and you know,
second tournament.
Right. Okay. Second tournament together, and the first time they didn't look so good, and actually they didn't look so great necessarily at certain parts. They're still feeling out how they're supposed
30,
to play together.
40.
So break point to go up an early break. And some sloppy misses from Czerwinski and McNerney. And this is exactly what we saw yesterday. After getting dominated in the first set, Van Schill and Fraser played a couple of sloppy games. As Arraya, this is another one.
Deuce.
Lauren, would you describe Arraya as stroppy?
If I were Jerry, I would, yes. But he is a bit cranky.
But it's interesting. So in a couple of Arraya's partnerships, his good partnerships, he had a, you know, great partnership with Jeff Morneau for a short bit, and he had a, you know, really good partnership, obviously, with Mark Parsons, winning nationals last year. In both cases, both players are very good from the backcourt.
Advantage,
Hit
Mr.
drives
Czerwinski.
that attacking down that allow Arraya to move forward, and Arraya moves forward behind them. That seems to be some sort of thing that works well for him. In other circumstances, when he had partners without those things, there have been cases of finding a role or forcing too much or not being able to get in.
Yep, great point, Brad.
Burus and Irdoja up 2-1.
Only in platform tennis could you see somebody hit a shot that Drew Broderick just hit. 2 feet from the net, an inside-out backhand. But Czerwinski's just always over there against that side wire, and Arraya's not picking up on it.
Game, Czerwinski,
of frustration.
McNerney. Games are 1-all, second set.
Arraya's really struggling right now. There you saw some indecision from him as he looked to spike that ball and changed his mind last minute and missed the lob wide. Great move in transition. there you see Czerwinski and McNerney switching in the backcourt. Interesting play, Lauren. You surprised by
15
that after
love.
they won the first set?
Yeah, I don't really know why.
And Czerwinski's hit some big forehands. Oh, great pickup there from him. 2 in a row. Wow, that's just spectacular play.
15 all.
See if they look for the switch here. Because Czerwinski has
Yeah.
hurt him. There they go.
Right on the line with that lob.
Oh,
Arraya with the two-hander.
Two-hander. What was that?
He's kind of made that part of his repertoire. It used to be something he messed around with, but now I've seen it in a lot of matches.
it's that specific ball right there.
Yes, that's exactly right, Brad. Where he moves in, he catches the ball early.
See, I don't understand that. Is that a lob?
Well,
Is that a
but
drive?
That's a great example of what we're talking about. So Broderick's hitting
15-30.
that push. Arraya's moving forward and gets caught with the ball behind him.
But I don't even understand what it is. Now, I also don't understand necessarily why Araya's, rushing forward. Maybe he's afraid of
15-40.
the front overhead, but just beautifully done by McNerney.
Game.
Usually
Czerwinski,
it's
McNerney,
Arraya messing
they
with
lead
the other
2
guy,
games
but
to 1.
McNerney just
Second set.
read every ball.
Czerwinski, McNerney won the first set.
He's
6
like a
games
big
to
cat
2.
up there. He just kind of covers everything and cruises in quietly.
Yeah, Arraya Broderick look like they're on different pages again, like they were yesterday in the first set against Ben Frazier.
This is about yesterday when it turned around.
It's
The
exactly
score,
when
yeah.
it turned around yesterday, with the exact same
Same
score.
Yep.
I think Broderick is going over to talk to Arraya. It's good. Broderick, good teammate, good captain of the ship. Burus and Irdoja are up 2-1 in the second set after losing the first.
And a point for 3-1 over there. Oh, there Arraya fails to trail the ball into the corner. It's kind of an
15
elementary
love.
mistake at this level, Brad, isn't it?
The only thing to give a pass on, he should be watching and seeing and tracking the ball himself, and knowing that ball had a good chance of going at the corner. But Broderick's also got a call for help as well.
I think he did.
Oh, didn't hear it. I mean, really, at the highest level, the first thing you decide is if the ball is going at the corner. If it isn't, you should easily know if it's a side back or a back side overhead headed toward the back screen or the side screen.
There Broderick calls help again. Czerwinski volleys so well from off the net.
He's another one of these players who's completely effortless, completely minimal.
Reminds me a little bit of Chris Gambino.
15 all.
Well, he did play with Gambino to start his career.
Big thumping forehand, very casual, volleys off the net.
Yep.
Great hands.
A little more weaponry.
Oh, that's some volley from McNerney. Tremendous. Again, he beats Arraya in transition.
30-15.
Looks like it might be 4-1. Burus and Irdoja in the next court. We'll be switching over to that match if this one ends earlier. They have answers for everything at the net. Czerwinski and McNerney.
I'd like to see them get them off the net, though. If you look at the point, watch where Czerwinski and McNerney stay. They're inside or right at the service box at best almost every ball.
Well, Arraya's trying to lob him off. Broderick is not.
Yeah, but look where they are. I mean, you haven't seen them behind the service line one time. How do they expect to drive it through them necessarily? Got a miss there from Czerwinski. He's made the last 4, but
30 all.
I'm going to say that play's always going to be in Czerwinski's favor for the most part. That's a great rip there.
That's what Arraya needed. He's been
30,
unsure
40.
on those spikes.
I'm surprised he hasn't looked for more of that. Wow.
Great shot.
Yeah, but what do you expect Drew Broderick to put back in play?
You can go whole matches without seeing him miss a ball out of the screens.
I was about to say, Lauren, are there any balls that you don't expect Drew Broderick to put back in play?
Matches, tournaments,
Advantage,
weeks.
Mr. Broderick.
Czerwinski, that was great.
Wow.
Well, he read Broderick's mind. He was moving back and away right to the spot Broderick hit it.
Taking away that forehand volley. Great court positioning.
Yes.
This would be a huge hold from McNerney.
Advantage, Mr. McNerney.
Well, he tried for a better lob there.
Game, Czerwinski, McNerney. They lead 3-1, second set.
And that was a real opportunity for Arraya Broderick, and they do not take advantage.
You know, Lauren, you said he tried for a better lob there. I'm really not asking for that. He tried for a perfect lob there, right down the line, just over his head on the outside of the line there in a small part of the court. I'm just looking for them to drive them off the net a little with the lob. That's it.
This is a butt kicking right now. And you've got no sense that Czerwinski and McNerney are going away.
There's a ball, so you see Broderick way off the net there.
And they switch again in the backcourt to get Czerwinski's forehand in the middle.
Broderick, it looks like Broderick and McNerney just need something to happen, either a series of errors or a couple lucky leg cords in their favor.
Boy, Czerwinski's got so many shots. Did you see that sequence earlier? Hit a couple of backhands. Arraya gets caught on the waterfall overhead.
Great shots.
Love 30.
A great versatility from Czerwinski and McNerney at that point. Okay, going in the I formation against Czerwinski.
Oh, great serve.
There we go.
Not up.
Way to go. Great shot by
15,
Broderick.
30.
Arraya Broderick are never out of it until you shake hands, but they're getting close.
Like I said, it feels to me like they just need something good to happen. A couple of misses from McNerney, or just a let court winner and something. Arraya wins it,
Not up.
exchange quickly. But
Another
what is
great
that shot,
exchange.
though? Yeah, but he's right on the net. Arraya's hitting the ball up to him.
15, 40.
That's just hoping.
Yep. McNerney's really winning a lot of those challenges.
Yep. Sitting next to Jerry Vian here, she just raised her arms up and high, showing the arc of a high lob. That's what she thinks they need.
Did you understand that comment she made last night about the sneakers, Brad?
Still, actually, I've just
Game.
actually let it go.
Czerwinski,
I texted
McNerney.
a whole bunch
They
of
lead
people.
4
I've got
games
no
to 1.
answers.
Second set.
I think it's best to leave it
Czerwinski,
alone.
McNerney won the first set, 6 games to 2.
Another spectacular finishing shot from Czerwinski, and they are rolling.
Here we go. We'll have another look at that.
And look at
Great
him
point.
darting over to avoid the forehand volley. Here's the great finish from Broderick.
No chance to get that.
Maybe on the third bounce.
It's not bouncing anymore by the third bounce.
It's like Brad's 9-iron. Although Brad's 9-iron spins back further.
Well, that was a quick 2 games.
See what Arraya and Broderick have right now. As they're getting their butts kicked. Arraya's just
15
missing
love.
a lot of balls. Great serve there from Czerwinski. Wow, 4-1.
Maybe
Just
they're
don't
going to hit their
expect-
way back into
30,
it.
love.
or hit their way over to O'Hare.
Either way.
Oh my goodness.
One way or another, it'll be over.
40, love.
Well, right now, that's not one way or the other. There's one way.
Thought you said it's not over till they shake hands.
Never is in platform tennis.
That's true.
Game.
That was a
Czerwinski,
20-second game.
McNerney.
Oh my God.
They lead. Ball
Whatever
change
it
one.
is, though, they're definitely not
Ball
going to
change.
try to hit higher, deeper lobs. Whatever
5
it
games
is,
to 1.
they're like, we'll drive them
Second
hard.
set.
Just a tremendous performance from Czerwinski and McNerney.
Love
I didn't
15.
know what Arraya was doing there with that serve. That wasn't even his normal motion.
Now he's
They've
holding
had-
his hip.
Every answer, McNerney and Czerwinski.
They're done.
Love 30.
He's done.
How can you
Yes.
tell?
Yeah, as soon as this ends, let's go take a look at the other match.
The other
Trying-
match has been a battle.
Yeah.
Try and get a score there.
Burus and Irdoja up 4-1 in the second set.
Yeah, I think they played another game.
It's possible. And
Match
wow,
point.
great shot.
Love 40.
I think this is the last we've seen of Arraya Broderick.
Hard to say.
Shot. 15, 40. $30, 40.
2 points back.
There's the switch in the backcourt to get the Czerwinski forehand in the middle.
Wow, back to deuce.
You know, in some cases you'd say that takes a lot of guts to hit that shot down match points, but he didn't care if he made it or missed it.
It was one way or the other. I kind of have this bizarre storyline in the back of my mind. Down love 40. They come back. They win the match.
Down love 40 and tanking.
And tanking, right.
Wow.
Advantage, Mr. Arraya.
There's nothing worse than when someone's tanking against you and then all of a sudden they start playing. It's very hard to get it back.
I wouldn't say they started playing. I would say Czerwinski and McNerney just sort of,
Gave
you know,
away
they're giving it to him, but they're not taking it, so they're giving it back.
Drew and Juan missed 3 returns and a serve. Like, that had nothing to do with Czerwinski McNerney.
Right.
And again, Araya's service motion was different.
He's holding his hip. He must be feeling something.
Oh.
Advantage, Mr. Arraya.
Still playing.
Again, a real abbreviated service motion.
Deuce.
Try and get a definitive score over there, but I think we have Brian Compton serving 3-4 second set, confirmed by Ann Sheedy. I think Burus and Irdoja had a point for 5-1.
Yes.
Oh, some volley from McNerney. He's so quiet with his hands.
Wow. Beautiful.
Good duck, my McNerney.
Good read from Arraya there, but McNerney has the answer again. Misses that volley. And all of a sudden, Arraya Broderick seemed interested in playing again.
No, they're playing again. I think they got it out of their system the last. Well, they actually were kind of semi-tanking this game too. And then at love 40, the other guys just gave them a couple of points back. Then they won a point. Now they're back playing.
I would say semi is overly generous, Brad.
Well,
but we've worked on your being more definitive.
Full tanking is not fair because they're still in it.
Arraya Broderick.
They won the game.
Czerwinski McNerney lead
they
5
lost
games
7 or 8,
to 2.
shot,
Second set.
1 or 2 shot points in a row.
Czerwinski McNerney won the first set 6 games to 2.
So 15-40 on the next court with Compton serving.
From 3-5 down. Yeah, so a couple of break points here on the other court.
I think it's 3-4 down.
Yep. Oh, that's
what a
so
shot
good.
from Irdoja. Sorry, you can't see that to our viewers.
So you'll gather that Irdoja won that point, and they're up 5-3 here. Thanks, Mark.
Okay, new ball. McNerney to serve for the match at 5-2.
Oh, what a volley right there from Czerwinski. But this is strangely a danger
15
zone
love.
for Czerwinski and McNerney. They better close this out.
Yeah, they should be in the hut right now, and maybe in a few minutes.
And they gave him save points. Then Czerwinski and McNerney gave them 2 right back. I think Arraya kind of won the point at 30-40 down, but 7 points in a row, and then Czerwinski and McNerney just lost a little blip in there. Now all of a sudden, imagine if Arraya and Broderick get this break. That's a great shot.
A little bit of a surprise misread from
30
Broderick.
love.
He's got to play the line on that ball. They break Irdoja to get back on serve. 4-5 in the second on the next court. Another strange array of choices.
40 love.
Yeah.
Okay, they got a redo. 3 more match points.
Oh, gave one back.
I think that's
40,
5
15.
they've had so far. This will be number 6.
And there it
that'll
is.
be it.
Game, set, match. Czerwinski, McNerney. 6-2, 6-2.
Okay, we're going to flip over to court 2 quickly and pick up, I think it's Scott Kahler serving to stay in the second set at 4-5. They won the first set 6-2, I believe.
Yeah, what I've seen just out of the corner of my eye on some of this is some really good points, a lot of back and forth. If Irdoja and Burus are making mistakes, we've seen in the past, like yesterday, even just Schmickel and Barnes just sort of dumping it slow down the middle. And then you see Compton and Kahler kind of just become this meat and potatoes offense thing. When they're making mistakes, now that was a perfect ball into the crease there, so great shot. Kudos to Irdoja. It's been that same type of overhead, though, that's not hitting the crease, shooting off the back screen, coming out, and that's giving Kahler really good offensive looks that he can move or blitz behind. Clearly they're probably getting the right of it more here in the second set after losing the first.
Mick Irdoja would have to be at or near the top of the list of players that haven't won nationals that have the ability to do so, Brad?
I mean, certainly individual ability, without a doubt. But would you say Mick Irdoja's had a partner in 3 years since Dan Regan quit, or 2 years? I don't remember when Dan Regan stopped,
No.
So he's really just sort of bounced around with various partners. He's a family man now, I'm not sure where it ranks, on his priority list.
I think it's still pretty high. He's playing a lot of events.
Yeah, but don't you feel like you got to have a partner you're going to play with and work it out
Clearly.
with?
But you also need to work out the kinks in your own game so you're ready when the right partner comes along.
Sure.
And Irdoja's taken some major steps.
Oh, I would think most of the kinks are worked out of his game. He does get tight from time in big moments, but he has a lot to offer. Huge forehand, moves great, has touch, great volleys,
Big serve.
cut overhead, but he doesn't use it much. He actually stays mostly with the roller. I'd like to see him develop that a little more. Great serve.
It's that hard roller at the nick.
Great ball for Burus.
You see Burus has a great backhand.
There's the hard roller that we talked about.
These are the shots that he's... Nick. Oh, so
Great
good.
That'll give
Love
them 3
40.
set points.
So good. So, Mark, are you still working on your game, waiting for that right partner to come along?
I am, Brad. I think in another 15 or 20 years I'll find him.
That's
That was out.
Yep.
Ball called out, confirmed by the
Game.
chair umpire, and we're going 3 here, Brad.
entertaining match.
Okay, we'll be back in a moment after these messages right here on the APTA network, presented by eNet Live.
The world of Rolex is filled with stories of perpetual excellence. For Rolex and tennis, the tradition began in 1978 and has grown to include the most iconic majors and tournaments since, supporting the legends, champions, and rising stars committed to the future of the game. This is a story of perpetual excellence, the story of Rolex.
You can't put wings on a car. You can't see an accident coming. Or walk away from one like this. You can't make a car talk.
How can I help you?
You can't fight gravity. And you can't make one of the world's best SUVs even better. Go on, tell us what else we can't do. The all-new GLS.
Are you ready to go?
Possibly the safest, most spacious, most Mercedes SUV ever made. Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing. It's a 60-year love affair, as passionate as the day it began. It's where the dream and the reality are one and the same. It's safety in its most exhilarating form. It is the 2020 E-Class, the quintessential Mercedes-Benz, made new all over again. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
Welcome back to the APTA Grand Prix Series. We're about to start the third set of this semifinal round match between Sven Burus and Mick Irdoja and Brian Compton and Scott Kahler. Mark and Brad, what are you looking for in this third set?
A lot of action in that second set, the limited amount we saw. It's just always fun watching Mick Irdoja play.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
so
and
explosive.
he's very explosive. Huge forehand.
Yeah.
So I know I've told the story previously on the air, but whenever I watch Mick play, I'm struck by it. Mick was working at Innis Arden, teaching 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year, took 2 weeks off, went home to Estonia to train, then played a Davis Cup match against Turkey in the World Group to qualify for the World Group, and won his singles match against a guy who was ranked 450 in the world, which is just a remarkable athletic achievement. And for those of you out there who don't know, being a tennis pro and being a professional tennis player have about as much to do with each other as pickleball and platform tennis. So, you know, you see that type of athleticism and that type of explosiveness from him. He's just a lot of fun to watch. And I think in a lot of ways he's the perfect partner for Sven Burus because he's able to play that ball in the middle. I mean, Burus really needs a left-hander. Burus, in some sense, is a left-hander.
Well, yeah, his backhand, his forehand is improved, but it's still not a weapon by any means, and he can't pull the trigger on it. His backhand, he will absolutely pull the trigger on it. He's a really solid player with a great serve, great volleys. But a player with that dynamic ability, and Irdoja plays, so take his other partner, Stojisavljevic. Stojisavljevic has some dynamic ability, but he played with sort of reckless abandon. Irdoja doesn't do that. He's still playing within, really dynamic stuff and a much bigger forehand, quite frankly, than almost anybody's.
One of the other things I've noticed in this match is both Burus and Irdoja love the spike overhead. And Burus' height has really made him effective because Kahler loves that waterfall overhead.
Yeah, the Kahler blitz has been definitely a big factor in this match. And the Kahler blitz behind the Compton drive, too. You'll see many times where Compton's getting ready to drive, and he hasn't even come near struck the ball yet, and Kahler is running to the net right away. As soon as Compton starts, like right there. There you go.
And that's an excellent example of what we didn't see in the last match, where Arraya Broderick were kind of playing separate matches almost.
Love 30.
Couple points in a row, Irdoja playing a little too fast, a little too aggressively.
That's been sort of what I've seen. If they're doing anything wrong, it's overplaying and playing a little into the hands of Kahler and Compton from time to time. I mean, they're making some great shots too. Going back to your point before, though, about, you don't see that from Arraya and Broderick. The problem is you don't know what kind of drive Broderick's going to hit necessarily. He might hit a probing drive, and he frequently does. It's not a ball you can blitz behind, and he might hit an attacking drive. So it's not a thing that you're confident blitzing behind. Great shot by Compton.
Well, that ball crossed the net about 3 feet over the net and just dipped. Irdoja thought it was going long, and they're down love 40. Oh, there's that huge Compton backhand.
That's so good.
That's got to be one of the best backhands in the country, Brad.
His backhand's great.
1-0
really
Compton.
sits
Kahler.
on it.
He and Burus have two of the best backhands in the country.
I mean, you saw a lot of good backhands this weekend, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you got both Rose brothers have really good backhands. Mark Parsons still has one of the great backhands. There's a bunch of them out there.
And of course, we haven't talked about Michael Montalbano's.
We haven't.
And probably shouldn't, actually, now that I think about it.
Out of sight, out of mind. So give a shout out to Michael Montalbano's backhand. Not the man himself, but just the backhand.
He's got Kahler to serve.
Love 15.
He's got in the white hat, and his partner, Brian Compton's in the black hat. And then Mick Irdoja is the lefty with the hat, and Sven Burus is wearing the green shirt on the other side.
Oof.
He got into that screen all right.
Great volley. And there's Kahler at his best. He's reading and baiting him in and cuts across as soon as Irdoja hits it with a deft drop. That was beautiful.
If we get a Compton, Kahler, Czerwinski, McNerney matchup in the finals, it'll be interesting because he and McNerney are such similar players.
Oh, jeez, that's really good.
Last year was the kind of Compton's coming out party, and he has a myriad of skills.
Yeah, he is like good at everything. He's a really good volleyer. It's not particularly an offensive volleyer, but he volleys great. Can hit the ball off both wings. Backhand is definitely better and more offensive. But you'll see Kahler blitz behind Compton's forehand drives too, because he's with heavy spin and dips it down.
The only thing you don't see from him is a finishing overhead.
Yeah, and he can get passive. The players who hit, there you go. See Kahler moving forward again. The players who hit a lot of slow, deep drives can get this team to slow it down. But that's sort of what's good and bad about. Oh my!
Oh.
He called it out, but
he was on that. He timed that so perfectly.
I don't know if anybody even saw that ball bounce to call it out.
That was incredible. Oh.
That's his bread and
30
butter
all.
right there. Hits that one well, catches the top of the tape. Yeah, you mentioned it earlier, Brad. One of the things we've seen with Compton is he tends to get kind of dragged into the mud when they slow the game down and he stops hitting the ball.
Wow, just amazing play there from Kahler. Just confident
40,
going
30.
forward.
Low swinging volley. Found the perfect spot.
Right at the body. Hard. It wasn't going in. Just couldn't get out of the way.
Nor was it intended to be going in.
Tried it again.
Well, he's playing
Deuce.
aggressively. I like how he looks today, Brad. We saw so little of that yesterday in the Barnes-Schmigel match.
Well, they got lulled in, you know, and Barnes and Schmigel did a great job. And it wasn't, I got to be honest, it wasn't exciting, but tough miss there from
Get in.
Irdoja. You don't see that very often.
Well, you're absolutely right, Brad. It wasn't exciting.
But it was a smart play from Barnes and Schmigel in the sense that they got these guys to stop hitting, so every point just became this grind. They just let the overheads drop. They just pushed them down the middle.
And how does that
Anytime they
happen,
drove.
Brad, that a player as good as Compton
That was out.
stops hitting his backhand?
Deuce.
You know, everyone likes the points and the balls to move a certain way. And after a while, if somebody gives you a diet of the others and you get out of the habit of hitting your shot, that's what happened. The new habit becomes not hitting your shot. You see something rare there. Compton cutting in front of Kahler. You don't see that very often. He got hit in the face.
It's hard to get in front of Kahler, actually.
It's surprising to see. I think Kahler was surprised to see it.
Break point.
Right at the crease. Yeah, that is right here. You'll see what this team is missing. Compton and Kahler have basically a couple little rollers. They can hit it at the crease, but
And that's the difference between Kahler and McNerney, is that McNerney has much more spin up there.
Well, that was a really bad move there by Burus as he tried to close in on the wrong
bad
ball.
move by Burus. You know, you're not sure what he's going to hit there. Burus is counting on something. He should stay back. Let Irdoja do his thing.
Boy, he hit that ball cleanly.
He knew it was out, though.
Another break opportunity. But Compton
Surprising.
looked uncomfortable in the deuce court there, didn't he?
It's a surprising miss. I mean, I think he's okay over there, but
okay is not good enough at this level. Oh, great
wow.
forehand.
And he just holds that. Yeah, he's out of there right away this time.
Get me out of here.
Solid volleying from both teams.
And you hear Burus calling out, no blitzing. Boy, and then
Juice.
Irdoja misses a surprising volley. Good backhand from Kahler, but you would not have expected him to miss that ball.
Jeez.
Third time's the charm.
You'd think that Burus would recognize that move since it's his.
That's 3 of those we've seen so far. Oh, great shots. He's really honing in on that spot.
Get out.
Ball sting right on the side wire. Great ball.
And that's one of the reasons it's so much fun to watch Mick Irdoja play, because it's such an aggressive play. If that ball comes out of 2 wires, he's in trouble. It's going to really speed up the pace of play. But there he finds the nick.
That's a great ball, the great volley. Oh! You know, it's so funny because he hits it so little that when he hits it, you're a little bit surprised by it. Compton, it was easily volleyable, and he was like, huh.
Great job by Burus getting out of the way of that ball. Kahler played a great transition point.
Well, he's another guy who will stand in brazenly at times when others will back off.
Well, that waterfall overhead to Irdoja, you better be careful, he's not looking for it.
Oof. Those are dangerous, those hard ones.
You see that Compton and Kahler are dumping a lot of balls to the Burus forehand.
That's the play. It's sort of one of those things. If you want the guy to beat you, you want him to beat you with that forehand. And Burus will stay disciplined. He won't hit it very often, but he'll get baited into going for it from time to time. That's the shot he's developed more, like that sort of half-pace roller that he's become pretty consistent with, that he'll throw in. Wow.
There comes Burus. He likes that blitz.
I have yet to see that be super effective for him yet, though. Like a guys like Kahler, that's a part of their repertoire, a real part.
Great lob there, set up the point. Something we haven't seen too much of this weekend.
1-1, yes. I'll get you a new ball.
Okay, back on serve, or back on break, depending on your perspective.
Waiting for a new ball. There we go.
Okay, Sven Burus to serve. Got one of the best serves in the country to the ad court. Really fires it in there.
Yeah, and he'll hit it hard at the crease from time to time, and he'll get it in there. Usually gets 1 or 2 a match. You got to be careful letting it go in. Just got word from Manchidi that it's a light sprinkle starting out there. See if they turn the heaters on or if that'll affect anything. Oh, great move from Compton again. Just squaring up the body.
So
Not even trying to
athletic.
get it in.
Really moves well.
Left 15.
And that's a great example of what you see, just firing that serve and challenging the Compton backhand.
And Compton took a rip at it. Yeah, you got to get out of the way of that.
Gotta love all the noises that come out of Irdoja. He's falling on the ground.
30.
That was a sloppy miss. No reason to miss that ball. And there's the crease that you talked about.
Just long. Two aces.
30
And you'll see
all.
on the deuce side, his serve is much more returnable. Nick, that's a good ball. Made him twist and turn. Of the
40,
shots you
30.
want Kahler to hit, that would be one of them.
Or just a huge serve into that side wire.
Yeah, and he goes right for the crease when he hits it. And he's letting him go. Now, neither one of those hit the crease, but when it does, it's over.
See them dumping the middle, trying to keep the ball away from the Compton backhand. They could have swung at that ball, had them both off the net.
This is a shot that's given them trouble that I think they've got to be careful with. When he misses that spot and the ball shoots up the side wire, Kahler's been teeing off on it.
Burus made a terrific volley on the first one, which came out the wrong way. Second one caught the crease, and they won the point.
Yep. No, he's got to keep hitting it. I like it because he's got to go for that crease. That's how they're creating, some extra movement, making it tough, putting some pressure on him. It's a good hold there from Burus, being down in the game.
And any hold on a day like today is a good hold.
Mark,
coming
any
off the wires.
hold for you, good. Period. And any day is a good hold.
Brad, I wouldn't know. I've never held. But this really throws the pressure back on the other side of the court. You never want to play from behind if you can avoid it, and this is a chance for Burus and Irdoja to jump on top. They really look comfortable together.
They look great together. It's a nice pairing.
Wonder if we're going to see some more of them as the year goes on.
I believe you said it before, Irdoja's playing Nationals probably with Jeff Morneau, but I have no idea. I think your point before was a good one. It does feel like this kind of match where you want to get up that game, be playing from ahead, not behind. And good quality stuff that I've seen from everybody so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, now Burus using the high, deep lob that we want to see a little more of. That's a great volley from Kahler.
A little bit of a slip there from Burus.
You think the court's getting a little slick out there?
We'll see. Jerry Vian can help us understand the way the shoes work on the court later.
That's a great lob.
But he doesn't look like he's got a lot of intent to drive the ball behind it. You don't see him setting up for the backhand.
It's more as if he's waiting for something. Oh, that's a good play. Oh, Irdoja, so good, and great bail there.
Swinging topspin forehand volley from behind the service line.
Yeah, halfway to the baseline.
Wow.
That was a great shot. Oh, Kahler.
Wow.
15 love.
You think Irdoja was baiting him there or just hit a bad overhead?
I think he had a bad overhead and didn't close in.
I think Compton is going to get the heaters turned on.
Yeah,
turning the heaters on.
You definitely, sir. Irdoja, look at his shoes, scrape the ground with his shoe. So, whatever that light drizzle is that Ann Sheedy talked about, it's definitely coming into play.
Great first point.
Can hear the heaters.
Yep.
30 love.
Playing the I formation, taking away that cross-court return from Burus. Same thing here.
And he just crushes that forehand. And Irdoja's forehand is great because he hits it hard, but he hits it with a heavy top. It dips as well. So it really causes a lot of extra pressure when you're trying to volley it.
One Arraya told me when the first time he played Irdoja and they were warming up, he felt like his paddle was getting pushed back into his stomach. So much pace on the ball.
It's heavy. It's a heavy ball. I don't know if like in miles per hour it's faster, but it thumps at you like he was saying. That's a bad play.
Great combination from Compton
love.
and Kahler.
But you see Kahler doing it again. As soon as Compton landed that ball up, he just came forward. Now Burus, if he stuck the volley, he could have won the point, but odds have definitely been in favor of Compton and Kahler on that play.
Burus managed to turn sideways, get hit in the butt, which is never an effective position. Brian O'Connor is very good at that.
Oh, that's too low for Burus. She doesn't hit it with enough spin. Don't love that one.
Okay, 2-all.
Scores tied 2-2.
That's the one that I'm talking
Yeah.
about. If he misses his spot and he hits it too hard and it goes backside, Kahler's been teeing it up. If he hits his spot,
Well, that's
then
Taylor's ball.
oof.
So what do you do
Compton.
in that situation, Brad? He's creating good opportunities for his team when he hits it there, but he's also putting them in peril. So
I think it's just recognition. You know, he should know that ball was going, backside, and then he got caught when that ball was drilled at him. He should be in. Oh, that's such a good move by Kahler again, and Compton, beautifully done.
But there you saw him bailing immediately,
Right,
getting out of the way. And to
Recognition.
your point, which I think is a great one, once that ball hits the back wire first, you got to get out of the way.
Right. Oh,
40,
Compton
15.
missing a few backhands here. That's his strong shot in his wing. We've seen him miss 3 or 4. Well, against the Burus serve, it's not really fair. It's a hard ball to drive. But that's 2 backhands in a row. You don't see that very often. Don't do it.
40-30.
He did it.
Guess you didn't tell him that too often back at Garden City Country Club when he worked for you, Brad.
Deuce.
2 sloppy errors takes him for 45 to deuce.
Oh, take it.
Boy, Kahler wants that
Yeah,
one back.
this game is definitely a little.
You take
Everyone's
it?
had good looks and
Yeah.
they've all missed them.
it's shaky.
Yeah, but none of the shots are wrong. They're all the right shot.
Oh, that's great play on both sides.
Yep. Perfect blitz, and then he uses touch. He backs away and uses touch to keep the ball away from Kahler. Reestablishes the net.
Deuce.
Very predictable on that overhead, and Kahler saw it. Punished him for it.
It's a great shot. He did make him stretch, though. But Kahler's so long.
And this is a great view behind Irdoja to see him serving, recognizing the impact of the serve, and then either following it in or staying a few feet inside the baseline. Tactic you talked about
That's
earlier, Brad.
dangerous.
Wow, Kahler's winning a lot of points from the
out.
back.
Yeah, but he's moved. It's too predictable at this point. They got to dump a few down the middle, get him to the center, dump 4 or 5 down the middle, get him to the center, and then you might have an opportunity to hit the roller where you want it to go. But I would say he just fed those balls to the Kahler forehand, high.
And
There
then
you go. See, but this is what you need a little first. And then if you're going to do something else, you've established at least a pattern where a Kahler's not just ready to pounce. Couple loose airs.
Deuce.
I love it. Irdoja and Burus still laughing. It's great.
Burus from Croatia, Irdoja from Estonia. Again, you saw that play from Irdoja waiting to see where the serve was going to go.
See, this is where Kahler's improved. You used to want him to hit certain drives against him, but he's become consistent with some good solid drives. Ooh.
And his backhand has gotten so good.
Right. He's not crushing it, but he's keeping it low, and he's hitting it from the baseline. And if you pop it up, he'll be quick to pounce. Oh, great fake and hold from Burus.
Head in.
Held Held that ball up. Looked like he could have spiked it, pushed it long, and he just at the last second absorbed all the pace and dropped it.
Great movement at the net there from Burus.
Is very solid. That's dangerous. Great.
And in contrast to Drew Broderick, Irdoja stands much wider at the net and much more willing to hit forehand volleys. You've played with some lefties in your career, Brad. Which way did you like to play better?
What do you mean? With lefties or righties?
Did you like the lefties real close to you, hitting nothing but backhand volleys, or did you like them when they were a little further apart?
I think I'd accept anyone who's doing something that works
Burus
the way it
Irdoja
works
leads
for us
3-2.
as a team. But in general, we always had the lefties up closer and in there.
Great hold there from Irdoja.
Went the other way, actually. They faced a break point. You know,
There's that elevator drop shot from Burus. I think I've seen you hit that shot once or twice, Brad.
I didn't want to take credit for him hitting it.
I'm giving you credit, Brad. Especially since he made it. It's a fun matchup between teams you don't often see play against one another.
It's a great, great match. And in terms of the way you see players play together, Burus and Irdoja look like they got some pieces fitting together.
Yeah.
A nice little jigsaw fit.
Well, Irdoja doesn't need that much offense next to him.
No, and Burus has plenty, but he has plenty in certain spaces. And Irdoja can squeeze those spaces, so it creates, and, Burus, returns the favor.
15.
He apologizes, but it's
How
a
do you
good
feel
play,
about
and
that, Brad? When you intentionally try and hit someone and then apologize?
I think it's perfectly fine because it's just courtesy.
Right.
He knows he intentionally hit him. Compton knows he intentionally hit him. And I think that's the kind of ball it's okay to intentionally hit somebody on, Well,
there are balls that it's not okay?
Well, when you're aiming at Mach speed at their head.
I think if you take a
Great
ball
volley.
at your shoelaces
Wow.
and just hit it upwards, I might take some exception to that.
A couple of spectacular volleys there from Compton and Kahler.
Yep. And you got to be very careful with how you're blitzing there. See, there again, Burus made the move. Not the best one.
Yeah, it was a short Irdoja forehand, though. Yeah, that's a dangerous overhead to Irdoja over there.
Oh, great shot from Kahler again.
What a get.
It's good. I tell you, you're right. Compton does not want to spend more than a ball over there on the deuce side. They switch right away.
Look at Kahler. He's constantly looking for the blitz.
It's the primary source of offense for the team. And it's beautifully combined, actually, with the Compton drive, Kahler will blitz off his own ball, but he'll blitz as soon as he sees Compton take a ball that he's going to drive. But see, if you dump enough down the middle, that sort of slows them down. Wow, good digs.
Couple of great slashes from Burus, but they have the answers.
Yeah, he doesn't have the cut finisher that just dies on the net, the short one. But he has the hard slash into the screen and the low slash into the snowboard.
Great forehand there from Compton down the line. And we start anew. And in contrast, you don't see Burus and Irdoja eager to switch.
Missed it.
15-30.
There's an area Burus can improve with his backhand. It's
15-30.
the spin sort of dipper. He has a great backhand, Burus.
They got a dispute in the score. I think it's 30-15. I think they have the score wrong here. The umpire does.
That was in this game, yeah. That was the first part of this game. 15 all?
No.
Burus volley.
You won the
Yeah.
first one.
And they had this
won the second
spectacular
one.
exchange
He
when
hit you on the
Kahler
second point.
and Compton made those 2 great volleys to go up 30-15.
Yeah, it's 30-15 for Kahler.
Is that the score they're playing? I didn't hear the umpire call that. That is the score.
Great lob. Oh!
Very clever play by Burus looking for the lead cord. Boy, Kahler is
great
so good in
Compton.
transition. Not getting hit by that ball.
Yeah, that was impressive.
Oh!
Kind of a matrix-like move.
Incredible stuff. But the seamlessness with which Kahler was able to blitz and Compton covered was beautiful. Not too hard.
Burus had a chance to put that ball away and hit it too hard. You said not too hard, too soon.
So you're blaming me?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
30 all.
Boy, Kahler usually pulls the trigger, that roller, and that one was just an explosion.
Well,
Almost
that's
got
what
Burus in the face.
I kind of like about it. He wasn't trying to go high, but he was certainly going body, and nobody expected that.
I don't think
all.
Kahler expected it. Okay, so they got the score
Yeah.
right, 30 all.
Yeah, it's impossible to come in hitting that ball high to the... Oh, boy.
It's all good. Oh. Burus makes a great first volley. Why did he miss that one, Brad?
Why did he try to take
He
it?
reached.
It's just going right to Irdoja. He knows it. He said it afterwards.
Yeah. Oh.
They're punishing the waterfall there.
I like it. I think it's always good to establish these guys down the middle first. It sort of slows them down, slows their blitz down. Great volley.
So take me through the thought pattern at the net for Burus and
It's
Irdoja
out.
Juice.
in terms of establishing patterns and spots.
Well, the way I think it should work for them is anytime they transition in, they want to now just take a moment, play the ball deep, unless they have a real opportunity, of course. Play the ball deep, soft down the middle, 4 or 5 times. That, to me, slows down Compton and Kahler. They sort of, then they go into this sort of mode where they're not looking to move or go. Oh, Kahler.
Missed it twice.
Yep.
Yeah, well, we saw yesterday the way Barnes and Schmigdal were able to kind of lull them to sleep almost.
Right. The problem with what they did is that's all they did.
They didn't have anything
right.
else.
There wasn't anything else. Right. So it was good in the sense it became, oh, it's out.
Called out.
I thought that was on the line.
Okay,
Oh.
reversed by the chair umpire.
You actually overruling this? We can't call that one.
Okay. It wasn't that clear, so I'll go with the long.
Oh, boy.
That you can't do.
Oh
Yeah,
boy,
you
this is
can't
going
make
to
a
cause a
ruling,
problem
then
with
another
Compton
ruling.
and Kahler.
Yeah, you
Tough.
can't
No,
do
it
that.
wasn't that clear. It
Yeah.
wasn't that clear.
This is where it goes. Now it's just going to go back the other way. He's going to get yelled at from the other team.
As Kahler hits the ball 9 miles into the distance, and he's right.
They may both
do
be
it again.
right. It
Do
might
it
have
again.
actually been long, but it doesn't matter. The
Doesn't
umpire just
matter.
has to make a quick decision, and
They should
that's
play
the way
it again
is.
now.
Well, the fair thing to do would be a let, but
Well,
it's almost, it mitigates the entire reason for having an umpire.
Right,
Yeah.
but you can't reverse yourself like that
Yes.
because you weren't sure after you make the call.
And Irdoja just said, let's play a let, and Kahler said, no, we've got an umpire, he makes the call. Now Burus is telling Kahler he's got to go get the ball. I thought I saw Jerry Vion heading in that direction, though.
Funny.
This is one of those awkward moments where the umpire just dug himself a hole.
It is a bit awkward. We've seen it before, and it is a tough
Replay the
situation.
point.
And
Okay, it sounds like they're going to replay the point, which is the
Right.
Only good solution. Not that there is a good solution.
At this point, there's
It's
no
the
good
best
solution.
of bad solutions.
Head out.
You know, for us with the angles we had, we have no idea if that was in or out. If I had to guess, it looked like it was traveling long, but that's just a guess. I have no idea. There you go. Yeah, now everybody's still upset.
For no point. Game.
But the normal way you think of it is, if, say, the next time you go up you fault, or the next time you go up you win the point, that's how you think it was. You think, okay, well, I missed that shot. All right, the ball must have been out.
You remember Rasheed Wallace used to say, "Ball don't lie."
Love 15.
In basketball, they missed free throws. Okay, let's see if Compton Kahler can recover from that. I'm sure
15 all.
Michael Bontombano and Marshall Chapin, the two guys who run the APTA umpires committee, will have a word or two for our umpire.
Well, it's a tough job up there for sure. What you can do and what you need to do, I think, you need to be quick and decisive, but it's also okay to take a moment to collect yourself before you make your decision, because the important thing is your decision.
I agree completely with that, Brad.
And I think he sort of rushed it, and then Burus came back at him, and, you know, it's the way it is. I mean, then he went back against it. We've seen it in the past, sort of a few years ago, when Arraya was playing with Leonard Jonason.
And there's Kahler's looking for the blitz.
That's so good.
Great move from Compton there. Boy, so much confidence in that backhand.
Oh, so athletic.
Irdoja did everything but fall down.
Yeah, he stopped himself before he fell onto the net.
Otherwise, he would have fallen down. He loves to fall down.
Great volley. Nice look from Compton there, looking for the spike overhead.
It's really a fun match.
Oh, it's great points.
Again, you hear Bursch calling out nobody, letting Irdoja know that Kahler especially is not blitzing.
I think it's a great call. And if he says he's coming, that allows him to change his overhead. Instead of pushing it, he could hit it down a little firmer, a little lower.
Much better pattern from Bursch and Irdoja at this point with the overheads. A lot of balls in the middle.
Well, you'll see. So the point is stopped now for Compton Kahler. We haven't seen a blitz. We haven't seen a move. Now, I'm not saying this is all they have to do. He can when he gets that ball lined up, hitting it at the crease has been effective for him. They just have to know when they're doing what and recognize what they're creating. Ah, great point though, because they gave them
30-15.
nothing.
Little confusion in the middle between Compton and Kahler there. Led to Compton getting dragged out of position.
Oh, that's a silly shot.
40-15.
Surprised by that.
If that goes over the net, really doesn't accomplish much.
It's not going to be at his feet. Kahler's not ready to blitz, because that's not the kind of ball Kahler's looking to blitz
40-30.
on.
Big moment right here.
If they don't close this game out, it's huge if they close it out. Such a good serve to the ad court. Really is very difficult to drive.
See if they can maintain their discipline here in the overheads. Compton's caught him a couple times with the backhand blitz.
Oh, great play there from Kahler, going right back at Irdoja.
See, I think that's a ball Irdoja's got to bail on.
Sooner?
Yeah.
I think he was a little off balance after making that first get and couldn't recover in time. I think his thought process might have been there to do so.
Called wide, confirmed. Another sloppy miss from Compton.
The umpire's probably hoping they don't ask him.
Yeah. Can you ask somebody else?
For all those people behind the court.
There you go. Oh, that's a good shot from Burus, but great play there from Kahler.
That ball looked close.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. That's dangerous. Great net play. Smart by Burus to bail back.
It didn't expose himself there. Stayed far enough back.
You're saying there's been other times where he has exposed himself?
I'm not going to comment on that at all, Brad.
That's a great lob. See, we haven't seen. See, that's where you just like, the lob is so, oh, Burus, the off-pacer.
Yeah, Burus has really done a great job with the lob, opening the court up. But there he's slow coming in and gets beaten with the off-pace ball.
It's a really good point.
The one that I made or one that they played?
That they played.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. I thought that was understood. See, this is one of these great games. If Compton Kahler can steal this one, that's awesome. Down 40-15, playing a couple of really good points.
There's the blitz.
Wow.
Got away with that one. That was the wrong ball.
Compton did not hit a good ball there to blitz on. Kahler's so good at the volley, though.
Boy, questionable slash from Burus there from off the net. Gave Compton a real good look.
Yep. I wouldn't say he has complete control over it yet, but it does work and it creates a different look, but that one for sure sat up.
Irdoja is hitting the roller down the line almost exclusively right now. Staying away from Kahler's corner. Feels like a bakery, Kahler's corner,
Or
doesn't
like
it?
after the Mets game, they used to have
Kiner's corner.
Oh, jeez.
And there he gets beat with the hard roller again.
Well, the hard one that goes to the back and then comes to the side against either one of these guys is not the play. What a shot there.
Great backhand down the line from Burus. Finds the Kahler forehand. And they'll have their fifth opportunity to close the game and go up 5-2 for a coveted spot in the final. Great return from Compton. Lauren, our producer, Kelly Diesel, really liked that Met reference. He's a lifelong fan.
Sorry, Kelly.
Strange that he's a Mets fan when he's from St. Louis.
Yeah, he hates the Cardinals.
And that's Cardinals
there it
country.
Is.
Wow.
Beat him in the transition game, and it's 5-2.
That was a huge hold.
Burus and Irdoja lead 5-2.
Really a rock-solid game from Burus and Irdoja. A couple of loose points from Compton Kahler, which you'd be surprised by.
Yeah, a couple of balls, they flew a little. It looked like there was, I think it's all gone now, a little bit of kind of anger after that situation, and they blasted a couple there. I think we're past that.
I was really thinking more of that soft forehand that Compton dumped in the net earlier in the game.
I think that was almost part of it too, in a strange way. But I think we're back where needed. And right now, Compton Kahler, they can't afford any blips if they want to move on here.
Okay, 2-5, final set. Oh.
Just makes that sound. when
Oh.
Irdoja hits
It's
it.
hard to distinguish between the skeet sound of the shotguns and the Irdoja forehand. They both have that same noise.
Yeah, for those of you out here, there's some trap shooting here at the beautiful Glenview Club. Skeet shooting, one or the other. That's right at the crease. What a shot. I think, did
15
Burus
all.
say he had it?
Irdoja read it perfectly. Hit it pretty solidly.
That forehand is so good. This will be interesting if we come down to the wire here. Both sort of Burus and Irdoja admitted a little bit that they get a little tight in the end of that Rose match when they were trying to close it out.
Neither of them have been to a Charities final, so it's a big moment for them.
I think it's the hardest thing though when you're up that break point. You know if you hit a really good return, you got a good chance at winning the point. But if you miss it, it's the worst thing you could have done to miss the return when you have a break point or a game point.
As Burus misses a backhand long,
30,
takes us to 30-15.
It's one of the things I loved about when Arraya played with Morneau. They would be like, hit it, go for it. And they give each other confidence in going for that shot. I think it's an important thing.
You got to go with what got you there.
That's a good roller. Oh, what a shot from down there.
Shortened the court. He had so much pace in that ball and spotted it perfectly on Kahler's
6
right hip.
inches off the ground. Great shot.
2 points from the match.
He missed it. He does not miss many of those. Ball hit the seam, kicked away a little. Just enough to get him to miss.
Boy, Irdoja with a foolhardy charge to the net there. He's lucky that Compton went the other way. The ball came off way too hot to follow it in.
Oh!
Off pace one. Caught him.
Yep, and you were saying before a little, Compton does do a little the forehand backhand thing. He's a great volleyer, but but that off pace one can be very tricky from time to time. Good pace there. Oh, Kahler's missed 2 of those. And that's a bread and butter move for them.
Yeah, Burus was in trouble there.
All right.
Match point.
Match point. Yeah, if I'm Burus, I move off the court there.
Boy, that was a really uncommitted swing, wasn't
That's
it?
exactly what I was talking about before. You got the break point, you got match point. Either hit the return or don't, but the halfway return, he's going to hit that. No. Surprising to see Kahler pull the trigger there.
Yeah, this is where when the other team is tight, you have to recognize that and make them win some points. Normally, I didn't think that was a bad swing, but at this point in the match, just would have put another ball up.
Let's see what Burus does. This is where he gets a little tight. He's going to lob.
There wasn't much question about that, was there?
Oh, what a shot. I'm not sure what happened there, but It's sort of like you said before, Mark. You know, it's surprised to see that happen on that ball. It looked like just a regular screen, and it wasn't heading at a seam. That's going to be tough. Great play from Kahler. Oh!
Oh my goodness.
Kahler's surprisingly far away to the right. He should have moved to the center a little more.
I don't think he expected that spike from Burus. Thought he had a safe overhead.
He's only hit a couple.
Great backhand return from Burus. Match point number 3. I like Burus going for the slash.
Oh,
love
my.
the aggressiveness.
Oh, great dig. Way to be calm. See, he doesn't have the short finisher. He'll go hard and long into the screen, try to die it.
There it is.
Oh!
Game, set, and match. Burus Irdoja 3-6, 6-4, 6-2. Great playing, Brad.
That was a heck. I didn't play, but it was a great play. It was a great broadcast. Lauren, great to be here with you.
Lauren, thoughts on the final? Burus Irdoja versus Czerwinski and McNerney?
Well, we're going to see some great shot making, and we're going to see, I mean, like you said, Kahler and McNerney are similar types of players, so it won't be that different than had Kahler won the match. But I think that it's going to be a lot of big hitting from Irdoja, and we're going to see what McNerney and Czerwinski can do.
I think the X factor in that game is the finishing overheads that Czerwinski and McNerney have versus basically no finishing overheads from Compton and Kahler.
Who do you like, Brad?
It's a pick 'em, you know, and I just have to take my old assistant Sven and Mick, so I just got to lean that way.
Lauren?
I'm going the other way.
Okay. Well, we're going to find out. The men's final is scheduled for 1 or 1:30. Do we know that answer? Okay, so we're going to post that on our website. It'll be 1 or 1:30, and we'll be back right here on the APTA Network, presented by eNet Live.